This is VOA Africa.
Hello, I'm Esther Githui-Ewart. It's Monday, October 5th. This is Africa 54. Due to the global outbreak of COVID-19, Voice of America is taking every necessary precaution to safeguard its employees. So our broadcast will look a little different today and in the near future as we, out of an abundance of caution, reduce our staffing at VOA headquarters here in Washington. We're working to help keep you informed about what's going on, and we appreciate you staying with us on Africa 54. The euphoria continues in Sudan following the weekend signing of a comprehensive peace deal between the Sudan government and the armed movements in the South Sudan capital, Juba. South Sudanese President Salva Kiir played a leading role in mediating the agreement. The United Nations, European Union, and the troika comprising Norway, the United Kingdom, and the United States all praised the signing. However, SPLM-N leader Abdel Aziz al-Hilu did not ink the pact. Sudanese Prime Minister Abdallah Hamdok says the deal was not about powering, but a new chapter to replace bullets with development. A debate is raging in Nigeria over Sharia law after 2 blasphemy convictions with one man facing the death penalty. Angela Akumadu reports.
Fuad Adeyemi, an imam in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, respects those who believe that a 22-year-old man accused of sharing a blasphemous message on WhatsApp should be punished. But he thinks the death sentence is too harsh. He was referring to a ruling handed to Yahya Aminu Sharif by a Sharia court in the northern state of Kano in August. On the same day, the court sentenced a 13-year-old boy, Omar Farouk, to 10 years in prison, also for blasphemy.
And we appeal that those people, they should review the judgments with the hope of re-enlightening them and reduce the punishments.
The cases caused an international outcry over the severity of the sentences and sparked a broader debate in Nigeria about the role of Islamic law. The country is roughly evenly split between a predominantly Muslim north and mainly Christian south. Sharia or Islamic religious law is applied in 12 of Nigeria's 36 states, raising questions about the compatibility of 2 legal systems where Sharia courts operate alongside secular ones. Lawyers say appeals against the convictions, which were condemned by some rights groups, have been lodged at the Kano State High Court. But in Abuja, Nigeria's capital city, insurance executive Hamid Abubakar took a different view, criticizing Western interference.
Some people should not come to others' faiths and put their thinking, or their normal thinking, or their social thinking, or their free thinking. We all act according to our scriptures.
Opinions remain just as divided and just as strong on social media.
Angela Akumadu of Reuters with that report. Now to the United States, where President Donald Trump, after tweeting a video Sunday evening saying he's getting great reports from his doctors, promised a little surprise for his supporters outside the hospital where he is being treated for COVID-19. The president then briefly left Walter Reed National Military Medical Center in an armored SUV with Secret Service agents in tow to drive by a flag-waving, cheering crowd outside the hospital. President Trump took a short last-minute motorcade ride to wave to his supporters outside and has now returned to the presidential suite inside Walter Reed. White House spokesman Judd Deere said in a statement, earlier Sunday, the doctors treating the president revealed that he had experienced 2 episodes of transient drops in his oxygen saturation. Despite that, the fact of the matter is he is doing really well, according to the president's primary physician, Dr. Sean Conley. The president's doctors say he could be released from the Walter Reed Medical Facility as early as Monday. Messages poured in from leaders around the world Friday after President Trump announced he and his wife had tested positive for the coronavirus. VOA's Mariama Diallo reports.
World leaders are reaching out to President Donald Trump after he said he and his wife have contracted the coronavirus. The head of the World Health Organization wished the couple a speedy recovery.
Overnight, we heard that the President of the United States of America, Donald Trump, and First Lady Melania Trump tested positive for COVID-19. I want to start today by wishing them both a full and swift recovery. Our prayers are with them.
Addressing the media at the end of the two-day European Union summit where leaders discussed the virus and its impact on the economy, German Chancellor Angela Merkel.
Meine Damen und Herren, wir haben einen sehr
I would like to use this opportunity to wish U.S. President Donald Trump and his wife Melania a very full and speedy recovery as quickly as possible from their COVID-19 infection.
Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador did the same.
I take this opportunity to wish the President of the United States and his wife a quick recovery.
The Kremlin released a statement saying Russian President Vladimir Putin sent a telegram to the White House. In the statement, Putin writes in Russian, "I am sure that your inherent vitality, good spirits, and optimism will help you cope with the dangerous virus." In Nigeria, many newspapers reported Trump's coronavirus infection on their front pages. Abiodun Ayinde, an accountant and tax expert in Lagos.
All of us have to be careful. No one is immune. American president is contacted, so we have to be careful. Stay safe, use face mask.
A White House official said Friday the president was experiencing mild symptoms. Mariama Diallo, VOA News.
All eyes in America are on President Trump's health after he and some of his inner circle, including First Lady Melania Trump, tested positive for the coronavirus. One question is how the president's health status will change the race for the White House just a month before Election Day. Michelle Quinn reports.
There are many unknowns surrounding President Donald Trump's health, including how his battle with COVID-19, the disease caused by the coronavirus, will affect the presidential campaign ahead of the election on November 3rd. According to Johns Hopkins University, more than 35 million people worldwide have been infected by the virus. In a video from the hospital Saturday night, Trump tied his personal battle against the virus with a mission to help others.
But this was something that happened, and it's happened to millions of people all over the world, and I'm fighting for them, not just in the U.S. I'm fighting for them all over the world. We're going to beat this coronavirus, or whatever you want to call it, and we're going to beat it soundly.
On Sunday, the president's doctors said they were treating him with the steroid dexamethasone and that he might return to the White House as soon as Monday. The president's illness comes as he and his opponent, former Vice President Joe Biden, enter the final 4 weeks of campaigning. Biden's campaign said it took down negative campaign ads when the president announced he had tested positive for the coronavirus. A debate between Vice President Mike Pence and Biden's running mate, Senator Kamala Harris, is still scheduled for this Wednesday. Multiple national polls show Biden ahead. How will the president's health situation change the remaining weeks of the campaign? The president's illness has forced the Biden camp to be in 2 modes at once: show concern for Trump's health while also contrast leadership styles between the 2 candidates.
This is not a question of politics. This is a question of the President of the United States getting back to full health as soon as possible. And I think for our campaign, as I say, we're going to continue to make our case for Joe Biden's style of leadership, for his experience, for his unique ability to bring the country together, to find common ground, to find consensus, and to move things forward.
Jason Miller, a Trump campaign senior advisor, said the president has taken many precautions and has proved to be a leader in the fight against the virus.
But also we've seen with Joe Biden, I mean, we can't all just stay in our basement for the rest of our lives. We have to get out there and live our lives and take this on, develop the vaccine, develop more therapeutics, and defeat it.
For Trump, the moment may be an opportunity to reach undecided voters who may make the difference come Election Day, said Alice Stewart, a Republican strategist.
He needs to appeal to these undecided voters, and coming out with a more compassionate tone, embracing the seriousness of this pandemic will certainly go a long way to swing over the people that have not made their decision yet.
One thing is certain, no one knows what will happen in what was an already contentious battle for the White House. Michelle Quinn, VOA News.
We're excited to hear what you think about Africa 54 and the stories we cover. Join the discussion on Facebook. The address is Africa 54. We're also streaming our broadcast live on Facebook. Please watch and share our show with your friends. Also check out our headlines 24/7 on voaafrica.com. Coming up, a mission to promote cycling gets a boost as some now seek to avoid public transportation due to COVID-19. Stay with us.
Health, wellness, sport, beauty, medical breakthroughs. Healthy Living cares about your well-being. What are the main health concerns in Africa and around the world? Find out the latest on coronavirus. Connect with our experts and ask them questions.
How long does the virus stay?
Join me, Linoch Mudu, in Washington, every week on Healthy Living, right here on VOA.
Welcome back to Africa 54. As the November 3rd elections approach in the U.S., many voters in states that allow it are already taking advantage of casting their ballots early, either in person or by mail. In Virginia, residents got a chance to vote early starting on September 18th, and indications are that turnout is beating records. Licia Bacales has the story, narrated by Anna Rice.
A polling station in Northern Virginia, outside Washington, D.C. People start arriving early in the morning, even though the elections are more than a month away. The line only gets longer as the day progresses. Everybody is wearing masks and practicing social distancing. The average wait time is about 45 minutes.
It seems to be at least an hour, more than an hour perhaps.
And you are ready to stay?
Of course. American democracy is on the line.
I didn't expect it, but it's been moving much faster than I thought it would. Yeah, I have to work today, but this is more important right now, so I'm going to do it.
The turnout so far for the November 3rd elections is at a record high. Fairfax County election head Gary Scott says he hasn't seen lines this long in his 24-year career.
The comparison is we had a grand total of 137,000 absentee voters in person and by mail. And this year we've already sent out more absentee ballots than that. We've as I said, we sent 170,000 out. So we're looking that probably 2/3 of our voters will have either cast or received a ballot prior to Election Day.
Experts say, on average, about half of U.S. voters will cast their ballots early.
I'm projecting about 150 million people will vote, and about half of those people will vote prior to the Election Day. So we're looking at about 75 million people that could vote before Election Day.
While there is intense interest in the presidential race, the main reason for this wave of early voting, experts say, is the coronavirus pandemic. People are simply afraid of crowds during Election Day.
I'm just kind of worried about what might happen and making sure that, my normal voting place is going to be open and available. And as I said, I'm very passionate about making some change this year, and been very frustrating, obviously, in 2020.
Because of the pandemic, many states have simplified the procedure of early voting and mail-in ballots. This year, anyone can vote by mail.
Well, when I first started, it was very difficult to vote absentee. The number of reasons you could use as an excuse was very restricted. Well, you were a student, you were in the military, you were traveling.
There is no way to change your decision once you have voted, even if you cast the ballot weeks before the election day. But that has not deterred thousands of people.
We're living in highly polarized times in the United States, and many people have already made up their mind. I dare say that some people could have cast their vote a year ago for Donald Trump, and they would not regret that vote today if they had cast it a year ago. So people have made up their minds a long time ago.
There are, of course, plenty of Americans who will make their decision on November 3rd, and they will be the main target audience for projections of results in the presidential race. Yet, neither party will know the results of early voting until Election Day.
Early voting results are not tabulated. No one, even the election officials, will know before Election Day how many of those early votes were cast for Democrats or Republicans. The vote is, you might say, in the machine, but they haven't hit the button that says count these votes yet.
Every state has the right to decide when to start early voting. Most states will open the polls about a week before Election Day, and it is expected that local election officials will still be counting mail-in ballots days after the November 3rd vote. Polesi Bakalets in Washington, Anna Rice, VOA News.
Courts in California have ruled that a homeless person may register to vote at a location where they say they spend most of their time. Volunteers are going to places where they congregate to help them register. Angelina Bagdasarian has the story, narrated again by Anna Rice.
Tens of thousands of tents on the streets of Los Angeles, and with every passing month, new ones appear. City data shows the number of homeless people in Los Angeles is constantly growing, with more than 66,000 now living without a permanent home. The national U.S. Census that is underway now will help officials update those numbers.
Across the state of California, including here in Los Angeles, there have been a lot of undercounting in our communities historically, and so we've been trying to make great efforts to make sure that people are counted appropriately.
There are certain counting rules in place today. For example, if a homeless person is sleeping in the middle of a street, a census worker is not allowed to wake him or her up to participate in the census. It is enough to check the census box to count that person and move on. Meanwhile, some California homeless shelters are helping residents register to vote in November elections.
A lot of misconceptions that homeless individuals are not concerned about anything else other than the daily necessities of life. That's simply not true. A lot of people right now are falling into homelessness because of COVID, losing their jobs. They're not able to pay their rent. And so a lot of people who come out and now are homeless, don't necessarily have an addiction or anything. It's by the circumstances that they end up homeless.
Paul has been living on Skid Row for many years. The area in downtown Los Angeles includes one of the largest and most stable homeless populations in the country. Paul says he and others on Skid Row have been spending a lot of time discussing the upcoming presidential election.
Both of them here, yeah. So they're both battlers. They're both competitors. One of them still learning politics. The other one got too much politics in him.
In past elections, polling stations have opened in homeless shelters, but that will not happen this year due to the coronavirus pandemic. Instead, homeless persons are being allowed to use the shelter's addresses to receive their mail-in ballots. For Angelina Bagdasaryan in Los Angeles, Anna Rice, VOA News.
Andy Costa is one of a new generation of activists whose mission to promote health and the environment through cycling has been given a boost amid the coronavirus pandemic and the need to avoid public transport. Tom Skelly reports.
Africa's traffic-clogged streets make it the deadliest continent in the world for pedestrians and cyclists, according to the World Health Organization. But a new generation of cycling activists like Andy Costa from Ivory Coast thinks the momentum is now with them.
The bicycle is the transport of the future.
Lockdown restrictions and the need to avoid public transport have focused attention on cycling. But for Costa, it was wider health concerns that propelled him into action.
When I used to go to school, we just had one kid who was asthmatic in my class. Today in our children's classes, 50% are ill with asthma. So it really demonstrates the negative impact the environment has on the health of our children. Our environment is really polluted.
Last month, after 10 years of campaigning, authorities told Costa he could help plan bike lanes in part of the commercial capital, Abidjan. Jacques-Gabriel Ehou, mayor of the Plateau Central Business District, said the lanes were part of the solution to make roads more fluid and improve health. But Costa is not stopping at that victory. He says his aim is to change the perception that cycling is for the rural poor. And his organisation, My Dream for Africa, make videos with celebrities such as soccer star Didier Drogba. He started with Ivory Coast, he says, but the vision is to make the whole continent more cyclable.
That was Tom Scully of Reuters reporting. The Philippines has less than 1% of reported coronavirus cases, with 319,330 currently, according to data from the Johns Hopkins University. Social distancing guidelines, however, remain in effect in the country. VOA's Arasha Abasadi reports on a religious celebration there that went mobile amid the pandemic.
Sunday in Manila, drivers lined up to take part in the annual observance of World Animal Day. A Catholic priest wearing a mask blessed pets in the capital city as the animals and their owners stayed in their vehicles.
It's very important for us then to have our pet blessed, because we feel like our pet talaga is really part of our family. And of course, we really want the best for his health too. And so yun, that's why we decided to join the pet blessing for today.
The priest sprinkled holy water on pets in this drive-through religious ceremony. It was all part of a celebration dating back almost a century with a stated goal to improve animal welfare around the world. Fears of coronavirus contagion, however, changed the ceremony's blueprint. Event organizer Ritchie Pascual.
But this time around, as mentioned, we have to adapt to the new normal. And the pandemic should never stop us from paying tribute to the furry animals that we have.
Animal activist Heinrich Zimmermann organized the first World Animal Day held in Berlin in 1925. In 1929, the official date changed to October 4th, a day Catholics celebrate the feast of St. Francis of Assisi, the patron saint of animals. Arash Erbasadi, VOA News, Washington.
As the Jerusalem Dance Challenge sweeps across Africa, in Zimbabwe, the wildlife are joining in. Staff at a Zimbabwe sanctuary for rescued wildlife has seen their dance video posted online with elephants, giraffes, and other animals go viral. Columbus Mavunga reports from Harare.
Zimbabwe Wildlife Rescue Center
Wild is Life this month joined in the Jerusalem Dance Challenge, a South African internet craze that is sweeping across the continent.
Jerusalem, ikayalami, ilondoloze, uhambe nami, zungangishilana, Jerusalem, ikayalami.
The song Jerusalem by South African DJ and record producer Master KG and vocalist Nomgebo went viral during the COVID-19 lockdown. Dancers, both professional and amateur, began posting their performances to the song online, including with some wildlife.
For us particularly, just spreading awareness of animals and the sentience of animals and the importance of animals for our national heritage, basically, for our children and for our country.
Danckwerts says she was shocked and excited when their dance video went viral, gaining thousands of views. She hopes it will help support Zimbabwe's wildlife tourism. South African tourist Phillipa Meek says she decided to visit the Wild is Life Center after seeing the video online.
With all the animals and the baby elephants, they were so cute, and seeing the giraffe in the video and all the spirit was just absolutely fantastic. And I thought it was one of the best Jerusalem videos that is out there. And it really encouraged me, because I'm from South Africa, to come here and actually see it for myself.
Like much of Africa, Zimbabwe's tourism industry has been suffering from the pandemic since March. But even before COVID-19, Zimbabwe struggled to attract tourists.
For us to be successful, we need a sound domestic tourism product. Then we can go to the region and effectively send it out to the international market and increase our arrivals, thereby increasing our contribution to the GDP, which is currently at 8%.
Zimbabwe hopes its rich wildlife can grow tourism and the troubled economy. Groups like Wild is Life certainly help, and more viral videos of cute wildlife would not hurt either. Columbus Mavunga for VOA News, Harare.
And that's our show for today. Be sure to watch Africa 54 on our website at voaafrica.com. From all of us here in Washington, we thank you for watching.